Okay, sorry, I've been talking a lot. Do you guys have any updates at the moment of anything you'd like to share? You want to share with our class today? You can share. Daniel said our class. Asher said, I mean, I already shared about the stress going on at home. Yeah. Oh, the Muffin Wizard said, I got my office. Very good, congrats. Let's do a little parentheses for that. He got an office today. He's been working for that place since, I want to say March or May? No, March. I think March. And they promised him when they hired him that he would have an office. Now, typically, it's nice to have an office because you have your space, you can work there. But at the same time, like, if it wasn't the Rona time, like, I don't think he would have needed an office. However, because this whole pandemic was happening when he was going through the interview process and stuff, he said,
it's really important to me that I get an office because I want to be as isolated as possible.
Both him and I are high risk, and, we don't want to take any chances. So they had said,
yeah, absolutely, we'll give you an office.
Well, it's almost the end of the year, and he still didn't have an office, and there's a lot of politics involved and, stuff like that. So I know it's not like straight up his boss's fault. There's lots of procedures that happen behind the scenes, but today he finally got his office, and since I went to the doctor, I stopped by afterwards because he works nearby, and I actually checked out his office, and boy, you're killing it. Like, it was really nice to see. Like, it was in my opinion, spacious office. It has, a nice L-shaped table. It has some drawers and shelves and stuff, which, what more can you ask for in an office, And it has a nice view as well. I'm happy for your office, Muffin Wizard. Congrats. Another thing that happened today is that I actually went to the doctor. I have to see my doctors every 3 months, and I tried to schedule them on the same day because it's just easier, especially since it's not super far away, but it's also not close. So I kind of want to do just one trip and be there, I went to 2 doctors. I still haven't told the story about my first doctor, so I'm going to kind of skip over that. But if you have seen my video on my new diagnosis, get on the YouTubes, you will know that I almost died this year in May because I, out of nowhere, contracted diabetes. Astrid's like, what? Yeah, go check that out. So I was in the ER for 3 days and stuff, and yeah, that's what happened. So I went to the doctor today. It's been, I guess, about 6 months, hasn't it? And he saw that I'm doing really well, which, yay. Basically, your pancreas stops working. And yes, it can have to do with the fact that you're overweight, but it's also a lot of other factors. And so your pancreas stops producing insulin, or it produces it, but it doesn't recognize and receive it properly. And therefore your blood sugars spike, and then you almost die. Initially, I was put on 2 kinds of insulin. One was before every meal, so 3 times a day, and one was before bed. That's a long-acting one. The one before the meals is fast-acting. Aside from taking a pill, and, I was like,
okay, doctor, what do I gotta do?
And they were like,
okay, so you should eat this many carbs per meal and stuff.
So I started counting those carbs. Obviously, I'm not giving anyone medical advice here. That is not my objective. I'm just, talking about my experience. Now, even though I wouldn't say I ate very unhealthy before, I definitely think, my portions were a little big, but nothing crazy. I know TV shows, again, show people who are overweight eating 7 plates and stuff. Now, I eat a normal plate, but I have reduced it a little bit because I'm counting them. So I measure them out with a measuring cup and stuff like that. If I have something to drink, I also count those. You just have to be careful with that. So I started doing all of that, and I've greatly improved. So I'm really happy about that. Just so you guys have an idea, okay? So I have completely stopped taking the fast-acting insulin before every meal. I was taking before how many units? I think I started at like 9 units and then gradually went down to like 5, 3, 2, 1, and then like I've stopped altogether. And my nighttime one, which was 50 units, I've lowered it to half, 25. So, yay! And I've lost a bunch of weight as well. Let me see here because I forgot how that went already. So the doctor said, which by the way, weight loss is not always a good thing. In fact, when I was hospitalized, I lost a bunch of extra weight because my body was struggling and almost dying. So that is not necessarily good, but in this case it's good. So I've lost during this past year 32 pounds, and 7 of those pounds being in the last 3 months. So there you go. I'm happy about that. I just read somewhere that there's like an article that says that a study says that if you can lose about 10% of your weight during the first 5 years of diagnosis, it is likely that you can go like fully into remission. And I was like, oh, 10%, that sounds like a lot. And then I did some calculations and I was like, oh, I actually did lose more than 10% already, so good. When I came off of it was called diabetic ketoacidosis, my blood sugars were insanely high, and they started going down little by little, even though I made the like eating changes right away, because it was still kind of like going down on the graph, you know? Oh, by the way, I should say that I got the bill finally for my hospitalization in May. Guess how much it was? It was 3 days, okay? I was 3 days in hospital. Couple grand? Okay, so it was $22,000 or $23,000. Thankfully, after insurance, which is why it took so long to process, it came down to like 1,800. It's still a lot. I had to put it on a payment plan. But yeah, compared to 23,000, it's okay, you know? I've only been in hospital, I feel like, twice this time, and then a couple years back when I almost died again, but that was from something else. Now, you know what is interesting or scary is going to the hospital. Because I have to go to the hospital for these doctor's appointments, and it's like COVID central at the hospital, right? You see all the people with masks, which I'm glad they're wearing masks, but like you don't know who's infected, who touched what, you know? And then you have to like go into the elevator, and there's like 3 people there with you in like a small space, and it's just a little bit nerve-wracking, but I think I'll be fine, hopefully. And you know, a really, really weird thing that happened when I was there today, like I went to get this thing keeps coming forward. A lab test, like they drew some blood, and while I was there in this like waiting room with a bunch of other people, an Amber Alert came on, right? Which are the alerts for missing children. And basically what happened was there was a TV up on the wall that was they were playing the Ellen DeGeneres show, and it was on commercial, and suddenly like these anchors come on and they're like, Amber Alert for Utah, blah 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 blah, and I was like, oh, okay. Then the Ellen show started, and she was talking with the person, whatever, and then like a red stripe or like tag, I don't know, like a red line came on with like white lights, and it was like, emergency Amber Alert, blah blah, and like a robo voice came, and they muted the show in the background, and it was like,
Amber Alert issued, blah, blah, blah.
And I was like, oh, okay. Then suddenly everyone's phone started going meh, meh, meh. And it was Amber Alert, Amber Alert, Amber Alert, and everyone was getting it. So yeah, that was kind of I don't know, kind of like a zombie apocalypse situation where all these alerts go off suddenly in the hospital, and it was just weird because I have received these alerts before, but I've been like alone at home, so I've never heard like 100 alerts go off at the same time, or like one after another, so that was really, really weird. Also, another thing is that schools and universities and everything had opened here, but now they're like, a lot of them are closing again because so many people got COVID. So I don't know. I don't know how that's gonna go. There's rumors going on in the Muffin Wizard's workplace saying that they might start working from home again, because he did work from home for like 2 months, I want to say. And they might be coming home again. And I mean, that'd be great, because then, you know, I'd spend more time here with him, although he's probably going to be locked up in the office. But, you know, you save on commute time and stuff like that. And it's a little bit safer. But we don't know for sure. But it is a possibility. What else is going on? Let's see. I made a little bullet points here so I wouldn't forget anything. Oh, if you watched our last cooking stream on the Muffin Wizards channel, which was, we made a tres leches cake. Actually, it was a really good success. We gave like half to my parents, and everyone really liked it. It was our first time making it, so that was exciting. And I definitely recommend that kind of cake for like birthdays, because I feel like it's a special occasion cake. And I actually recently found in the supermarket like the same products, but different. So there's a sweet condensed milk that is lactose free, which I'm lactose intolerant, so that would be good. I found an evaporated milk that's fat free, so I might look into that as well. And then next time we might try it with like all these kind of different substitutions to see if it's good as well. Cause yeah, that was a super easy recipe, and totally think it's worth it. Astrid said, "Ooh, that sounds like a good try." Yeah, it was so much fun making that cake, and it was really simple. The only thing is that you have to be patient, because you can't eat it that day. You have to put it overnight in the fridge, or at least for 4 hours, it says, and then you eat it the next day. But it was really good. And like with one box of cake mix, it like filled up a big pan. And by the way, since I'm talking about recipes and desserts and stuff, and I've talked about the diabetes, one thing that I didn't know, and like a lot of people don't know, like for example, I was telling my mom, and she was like, oh, you know, she thought that since I got it, I could like basically only lettuce for the rest of my life. But it's really not like that at all. It's all about balance. And so like with the cake, right? That cake is incredibly sweet. So I did some research. I searched how many carbs a piece has, you know, about the size of the piece and stuff. And basically I would eat a tiny piece like this as a whole meal. So that was my meal. If I wanted it for breakfast, that was my meal. You don't have to give up stuff. You just have to measure stuff. Ashley said, little bits here and there. Do not deprive yourself, because you could cause other problems. Exactly. In fact, it is not good, the doctor has told me, to go completely carbless. You actually do need carbs. So every meal you should try to have a little bit of carbs and a little bit of protein. He said that's a good balance, and obviously he told me like the amount that is good for me, and so on and so forth. But yeah, you should kind of just try balancing it out. Another thing that's important is to keep your electrolytes up. So like your potassium, your magnesium, all that, because sometimes when you start cutting out stuff, if you don't get enough nutrients, then you can have other problems like Astrid had mentioned earlier. So that is my life updates for the day. It's been about an hour, huh? I can just go on and on, right? I just, you know, I wanted to hang out a little bit, talk to you guys. I hope you have a good week, and that is all for now. Bye! Thanks for hanging out! Have a great night!